first grade. This is Mrs. Arbini, and you can't see my face right now because I can only run one camera at a time, and I'm using my document camera right now, so you can't see my bright and shiny face, but I am right here excited to share with you about phonics today. So we were talking last week about my buddy Rashid, and I'm going to put Rashid under the camera just to say hello. Can you say hi, Rashid? He's been missing you guys. He's totally ready to talk about phonics and studying names and learning big words to talk about phonics. So he's sitting right here next to me, and he is all excited that you guys are here today to learn about names. So last week we worked on studying names, and we're going to do that again this week. But we're also going to talk about what it means to be an expert about something, to be someone who knows so much about a topic. And, you know, I love dogs in my neighborhood, and I would consider myself a little bit of an expert on dogs. So when I'm taking a walk with my family around the neighborhood, I don't just see a big dog and say, yep, that's a big dog. Or I'll see a little dog and say, oh, that's a little dog. I know the names and the breeds of the dogs in our neighborhood. I know which house has a German Shepherd and which one has a Golden Lab. And we even have a Labradoodle down the street, which is part lab and part poodle. I'm kind of an expert. And so when I talk about dogs, because I know so much about them, I use the actual breed name to talk about the animal. And so we're going to talk today about how when you're an expert about letters and words, that you talk differently and you speak about them differently than maybe you did when you were in kindergarten. So I have Rashid's name here, and we studied his name last week. But he told me, didn't you, Rashid, that you have a best buddy. Is that right, Rashid, that you have a best buddy? And his name is Lorenzo, right? Yep, he says yes. So Lorenzo is letting us borrow his name today. And so I've written the name Lorenzo on my board. And we're going to study Lorenzo's name. So I have that chart up in front of us. And last week we learned that there were lots of ways to study his name. And one of them was to clap the syllables, to stomp them and snap them. So let's do that together. Lorenzo. 3 claps. How about stomps? Lorenzo. Did you get 3 stomps? I did too. How about snaps? Lorenzo. Still 3, right? So now let's look at the letters in Lorenzo's name. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters in his name. And it says that we should name the letters. So let's do that. L-O-R-E-N-Z-O. But then it tells us to study it closely. And to study it closely, we're going to switch over to a different chart. And this is Rashid here at the top, who's giving us all this advice. And it says phonics professor words. And a professor is someone who knows a whole lot about something. So much about something that they can teach it to other people. And so we're going to learn to be phonics professors. So instead of just saying, yep, that's Lorenzo's name, I see it, it's right there, we're going to talk about it like we know a lot about it, because we do. So let's go through some of these phonics professor words. 2 of the things that Rashid mentions in his chart here are uppercase letters and lowercase letters. Well, Lorenzo does have an uppercase letter right at the very beginning of his name. Don't all names have capitals at the beginning? An uppercase letter? And then all the other letters in Lorenzo's name are lowercase. So he has a capital L and a lowercase O-R-E-N-Z-O. Rashid also tells us in our phonics professor charts that we can name the letters, and we just did that. But also that we can say the sounds for the letters. So Lorenzo's name, Lorenzo, with the L at the beginning, it makes the O sound. What about the Z in Lorenzo's name? Yeah, it makes the Z sound. Excellent. How about the R in Lorenzo's name? Very good. And do you notice that in Lorenzo's name, there's a word? Lorenzo has the word or in his name. Isn't that amazing? Do you have a word in your name? Very cool. Now, we've talked already about syllables, but I want to talk to you a little bit about vowels. Raise your hand if last year you worked on your vowel power in kindergarten. Do you remember your vowel power? Yeah, we learned that there are two kinds of letters in the alphabet. There are vowels and there are consonants. So we know that vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So I'm going to underline the vowels in Lorenzo's name. He has two O's and an E. Okay? What about the consonants in his name? Well, I'm going to put a little triangle or a little point, also called a caret, under the consonants in his name. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 consonants in his name. Now, he doesn't have any digraphs or blends like Rashid did. So if we were talking about my buddy Rashid's name, we could show that he has a digraph right here. That SH makes the sh sound. So some names have digraphs and blends. So what you're going to do today is you're going to think about all the names that you know. They can be names of your classmates. They can be names of your family members. They can be names of favorite characters or even your stuffies. And I want you to make a list of those names, and then I want you to study them using Phonics Professor words and talk about those names. And be ready when you come back to go into a breakout room and share a name that you studied and talk about it like a phonics professor.